Hi guys, welcome to Straight News TV. And yeah, I shouldn't be so happy or sounding so happy. Um, Absolutely awful result for us. And I was just talking. I'm going to be. Steve was going to join me, and then Joey didn't know if he was going to do some maths homework or something for uni. And to be honest, he might as well have done. But I think, considering the fact that we've just had such an entertaining match, I think that might have swayed him to come on. So, Steve, what do we make of that result? Because we were just talking off air about that and about it being entertaining for the first time in X amount of months. What was your thoughts on that? That I was about to say performance, but it was more of a match than a performance that it was after, wasn't it? Really, the result was what was key.
True, yeah, after sitting through so many drab nil-nils against bang average sides, we have one in entertainment, but to be fair, we were backed into a corner after PSV, and we expected PSV to beat CSK, which they did in the end, and we had to go out and win the game. So the game plan had to change, which it did. I mean, we scored 3 goals. We scored 2 goals tonight, but we conceded 3, and we're out and we're playing dog shit Europa League football. In a group that I think a lot of us would have been nodding our heads when we got it. I still remember we're watching a draw. Just went, take a bit of that. Yeah, out of Europe for a season. Nice, that is. And then we finished 2 points behind PSV in third place. Just embarrassed, mate, dejected. And it's the same old crap saved up, mate. Fucking, it's annoying. I let you boys go and let my mate the foul mouth Yankovics go.
Instead of having Pasha on, they should have got Pasha on anyway. That would have been absolutely blinding, wouldn't it, to watch Pasha go off on one. But yeah, I'm just going to pick up on that point, about it being defensive. And I said to you off air about the second goal and Daley Blind. What the hell was he doing? And I've got to go back and watch that game again, minus the tension, just to watch where the mistakes were made. Blind for one for their first goal, just was storming in at 100 miles an hour, takes a player out pretty much in their half, and you just thought, what the hell are you doing, pal? Concedes the free kick. Smalling, for me, he's been absolutely superb for the entire season. He made one howler there on the wrong side of his defender, didn't know where he was, and the Brazilian gets right round the back of him. Actual fact, makes a run from behind him, and a good 2 or 3 yards behind him, and he ends up in the front post and puts it in. I don't think we complain about their second goal really. Defensively, I think that was just good 1-touch, 2-touch football from them. In actual fact, that's the type of football that United should be making in the opposition box, and at times we didn't, and I want to go on to that point in a bit. But Joey, let's have your thoughts on that, pal.
On the defense, the defending?
Well, you start where you want, and we'll sort of mix it and match it as we go along, pal.
Look, Blind isn't a center back. We know that. He can read the game very well, can put in a tackle here and there, and he hasn't, any challenge he has come up against, the lesser opposition, he's done well. Other than Arsenal, we haven't really played anybody in the Premier League worthy of it. The Premier League is, honestly, it's just shit this year. It's just, not a lot of quality. Maybe not a lot of consistency. But look, the defensive troubles, he all season he's been playing with Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger or Carrick. He's had this really, 2 defensive midfielders sitting in there and holding, which has shielded the back four. And when you have Fellaini in there, Fellaini, if anything, he's more of a number 10. He doesn't read the game like the other guys do, and he can't tackle like the other guys do. He also gives away more fouls than the others do, and it's just a build-up. And then you have also 2 young kids at fullback. It's frustrating because it's just a lack of depth, and with all the money that was spent, you would think that they would have enough depth to cover these areas. At the beginning of the year, the squad looked thin as it was, and going into today, you got Varela, you got Borthwick Jackson, you got Nick Powell coming on. I was talking to Steve about that. You're taking off Mata, who's, if anybody can pick a pass or score a goal when you need it. Usually you can count on Juan Mata, and then you're putting on this, Nick Powell, who's just coming back from injury. But there was talk about him never even, playing at this club again. Don't get me wrong, I like Powell, but it's just not what you would bring on. There's just other options, and it's just too predictable. You know, we should have never been in this position in the first place. It's not an easy group, but it's a group that Manchester United should be going through. You know, even as runners-up. That's what I was nervous about. Even going through as runners-up, you're going to get one of the big boys, and then you're really going to get exposed because the team is just average. It's, you know, the manager drills them into this possession style, his philosophy and things like that. And I've been thinking a lot about that lately. I just don't think the players, they definitely don't give it their all for him. I mean, I think that's obvious. You know, we've seen some of these players play brilliantly, and even that little stretch under Van Gaal last spring. But other than that, it's been boring. It's been sideways passing. Even today, 85th minute, they were passing sideways and backwards when you need to go forward. You need to get a goal. You know, wave after wave of attack. And I just don't think these players give the extra effort for him. I don't think they like him. You know, they're professionals, so that, you know, they're going to try. They're going to want to win, but they don't give that extra effort, that 110% that Fergie used to get out of players. It's just fucking frustrated, though. You know, Europa League's here. Maybe we can give that to CSKA. Just give them like a Christmas present. Because I don't know, you just don't want to be in that playing those Thursday Sundays. It's just not, you know, it's tough to get. You know, we see Spurs struggling to get top 4 all the time, and the other Europa League teams. Liverpool was in there last year and this year, so it's just really fucking frustrating. Chris Smalling hasn't made many mistakes at all, if any, and like you were saying on that first goal, he gets caught on the wrong side, but should have never been in this position in the first place. And even going back into the summer with the money spent, you got to be able to have some depth. You know, there's no game changers on this team or on the bench. There is no, you know, world-class players, and you need players like that to go on in these competitions and to win leagues.
Yeah, I was going to pick up. I'm trying to figure out which bit to pick up on first there, Joe, with that.
I was just all over. I just wanted to let it all out.
Yeah, well, you know, this is the whole point. I think there's a lot of people venting some frustration in the comments below. I'm going to come to those in a bit. But I think my bit is that, yes, there is no squad in depth. And we knew this at the start of the season. He let so many players go. And it's come back to haunt him, in a way, for Louis van Gaal. I was going back on the fact that he was talking about losing the dressing room at one point there in that bit, and obviously Moisey did lose the dressing room, and I think even probably about this stage, and this was he had Champions League football at this stage in actual fact, because he got through to a quarter-final of a Champions League football. You know, he's staggering to think about it in that way, but I think from January onwards, he'd really lost the dressing room. And I think I was having a conversation with Dale the other day, or it might have been earlier today, about Louis van Gaal saying recently that if he lost the dressing room, that he would go. And there's all these circulations about Guardiola, go and get Guardiola if he's going to be free, and stuff like that. At the moment, I think that's sort of probably not playing into anybody's hands at the moment. United have still got... Well, 3 points off the top, and we're talking Leicester here at the top of the. They're not going to stay there. Thing is, City have always been a team that make hiccups along the way in a Premier League title race. Yes, it should be Manchester United's priority at all times, and it's going to be a hell of a lot difficult now with Thursday night, Sunday night football, Thursday, Sunday football, and yeah. I'm not entirely infused by it. You know, Saturday 3 o'clock kickoffs is what football should be all about for me. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles for the rest of the season, and that's probably going to make a more tense atmosphere at Old Trafford. Steve's been to Old Trafford. We were just discussing this just before the start about the West Ham game, and three quarters of the stadium were probably leaving thinking, I could have brought a fucking pillow and a duvet and had a nap and paid me X amount of money to the Glazers for the privilege of doing that, and got woken up by a steward at full time and asked to leave, because that's what West Ham was. But this was a different game. We actually played some football, and I've titled this Disappointing but Proud, but because the proud is the fact that, yeah, Nick Powell wouldn't have gone in for me. Not entirely sure where that idea came from. Young on the bench, somebody who could run at somebody. We ended up with Chris Smalling up top in the end because he was that injured. It was the only place to put him that he stayed on the pitch. But I think it was more the fact that we were able to put in that youth. And Varela, for me today, he showed a bit of glimpses against West Ham when he came on. Yeah, he wasn't going to be all that against West Ham, but he was absolutely. For me, I think I'd actually like to give him man of the match for United, Varela. He was throwing in tackles, time tacklings, read the game well, and that's what he needed to do. But there's squad depth, and there's a question in that, and there's a lot of people talking about that in the comments about how the squad depth is just not good enough, that we shouldn't have to be relying on the likes of Varela, Bouzouard, Johnston. You know, Pereira for me could have been the one to bring on for Mata. And you talked about direct ball as well there, Joey. Where did our first goal come from? And this is the epitome that United fans are going to really love about that goal. Blind brings it out from the back, one straight forward pass. Mata turns it round, another forward straight pass. It's direct, 2 passes. What we're in behind their defence. Martial, superb finish. We just hoped that he would go on from there, and we played that style of football. It just doesn't seem to be. I think it just seems to be a consistency sort of thing. We just don't seem to be that consistent to play one style of football all game, unless we're going to sit there with the ball for half an hour and pass it around our back line. So yeah, frustration. But there is a bit of proudness in there that we're actually being able to use the youth players at one point, if not in the right scenario. My little rant before I get back to asking the lads some questions is on Fellaini. Joey picked up on it, and I've picked up on it several times. He's not a midfielder. Marouane Fellaini is not a midfielder. He plays in number 10, number 9 if you really want to play long ball football to him. Put him in the centre of midfield. Start that match. He lost the ball. He gave the ball away so many times. He nearly gifted them a goal. Because he was out on the left-hand wing for one point. He passes the ball back into our Schweinsteiger, who didn't have a clue it was coming at him. He gets closed down by 2 of their players. They're on the counter. I think we got luckily to get away with it. But in the first 6 minutes, we got away with the flick on because we was all on one side of the pitch, leaving Varela on his own in the middle of the pitch. Surely, God knows where he was aiming at, what he was thinking about, not bringing it down. He was just having a poppy shot. But yeah, I think there's still frailties in this team, and as much as we like Schweinsteiger, as much as we like Smalling, we've been showing a couple of their frailties today. But Fellaini, for me, he took him till the 60th minute to even be able to bring a touch down and play the ball. There's a lad that sits near me. He's a big Fellaini fan. I've not got a clue why. We take the piss out of him left, right, centre. If you've ever seen our Fellaini flag in J standards quality, he loves it. He loves his Fellaini flag. And I said to him on Saturday against West Ham, I'm going to make you first ball Fellaini flag. Because that's all he needs to do. First time. It's got to be first time for Fellaini if he plays in midfield. He's got to be thinking about it quickly enough. If he doesn't, he runs around in circles and tries finding somewhere backwards. We might as well have kept Tom Cleverley, honestly. And he didn't play that many back passes for Everton last night, because I watched Everton on Monday night. I watched that game last night, wasn't it? And he didn't play that many back passes, and Fellaini did that for 60 minutes today. Didn't get into the game. Finally got himself further up the pitch and started causing problems. Just really to start with for this. Steve, I'm going to go to you, and I'm going to think of let's think of a question we can ask Steve. Apart from if you've got any further points that you'd like to make.
Yeah, go on.
We're talking like on the basis that. Right, so this could be a slight turning point. There's a lot of talk about bringing Guardiola in. There's a lot of talk about giving Van Gaal another 200 million. A lot of people thinking, well, that's mental. What are you doing? Come on. That's a bit mental. But I think it was me and you had a conversation about how this season is another building block for next season and what he leaves at the end of his Manchester United tenure as it is. So would you? I think Man United fans are going to definitely be shouting, we need reinforcements in January, especially how low we're going into under 18s pretty much to find some players. Especially this racking injury list includes Darmian and now Smalling by the looks of it. Would you give him another 200 million in the summer and see what we come out with?
First off, mate, that's a great question. I'll go on the bit you brought up about the first goal, and like I say, I stand by it. I think Van Gaal had to change it tonight to attack because he was backed into a corner. He had no choice. We had to win there because you would have banked on PSV beating CSKA Moscow. So, like I say, it changed today. Even on the Fellaini and people moaning about him dropping Carrick, I thought Carrick was pretty dog shit on Saturday, mate. And I'll be honest, Carrick's been a great servant for United, and I think he's been off the pace this season. I'm not getting on Carrick's, but I think Schweinsteiger was. I thought he was disappointing tonight, mate, and I love the guy. I've said I wouldn't slag him one bit. I thought he wasn't great tonight. And with Fellaini in the starting lineup, I thought, well, at least it's attacking. It looked like one. You know what I mean? If Fellaini's going forward and it isn't one defense, if it isn't two defensive midfielders, then that's good. But like you say, I mean, I judged him under Moyes, and people said, oh, even last season when he got a few goals, I didn't think Fellaini's a midfielder for the Champions League, mate. I didn't think he was a Manchester United midfielder. I would say it all the time. And that performance he put in against Bayern Munich at home was, for me, one of the single worst I've seen at Old Trafford that I've been to. I thought it was absolutely woeful. I thought, all right, give him a shot this year. And nah, he ain't good enough, like you say, mate. If you're putting him in defensive mid or centre mid, nowhere near good enough. The bit that I bring up about the goal is I think it perfectly highlights that this side have got that the quick passing. It's the same with the morons who were on the fan cams on Saturday, or they're on Twitter after the game. Oh, we just need finishes. We just need finishes. They forget the fact that West Ham probably had the better chances. They go on about these 21 creative opportunities. There was 50 people in the fucking box. You know what I mean? And that goal tonight, you can't defend Martial if you're getting the ball to him fast. If you're Martial, you're screaming to your midfielders, give me the ball quick. He won't be able to defend me. And it was a piece of piss goal. You said it there. One ball from Blind. Mata's got the touch, turn and swivel. You're telling me United can't do that? Week in, week out, we have to watch that drivel every day of the week. Now, we're going on to Mr. Louis van Gaal now. Defended him all last season. Like I said, the people wanted him out after 3-4 months. The result weren't good, mate. Let him slide. The performances were terrible, mate. For most of them, we had a little stretch at the end, and then we went back to normal. We bottled it. We were losing games at the end of the season. All right, might be a bit harsh to say we scraped fourth, but we got fourth. This season, full summer, like you say, a lot of money. Trusted with buying players. Trusted in buying a squad. And if you look at how many, I know he's got injuries, people are entitled to bring him up, whatever. You look at that bench for the past few weeks and you look at the side, where's the strength and depth in that? Where's the forwards? People tell me we're an attacking side. We've got Martial and fucking Rooney on the books. I turned up to the Liverpool game at Old Trafford. Fellaini's up at number 9. Don't tell me this is the attacking United side, man. Like you're saying, you're bringing on Powell, who's had less games for United in the last 18 months than I have. And he's coming on in the Champions League and a must-win for Juan Mata. The squad is not good enough. Me and Joey, when he hosted the show, when the transfer window ended, echoed the same words. You could see it coming a mile off. And Louis van Gaal has got to get the blame for that. It's as simple as that. He made them choices to get rid of Van Persie, to not sign a replacement for Falcao, to fuck Di Maria off. Di Maria probably made it himself in a way, but you know what I mean? He never replaced him. That squad we had last season should have been added to, but all he's done is got rid of them and then replaced them. Never added to the ones that he's brought in, and the squad's nowhere near good enough. We're out of 2 competitions already. Is someone going to argue and tell me the squad's good enough? Right? They go on about this progressions. We progressed. We got battered by MK Dons last year in the second round. Right? So we got beaten the third round this year at home. Yeah, that's progress if you want, yeah? We're sitting a bit better in the league this year. Progress. Well, at least we're in Europe this season. Yeah, progress. But is it enough? I don't think it, honestly, I don't think it is. The criticism thrown at him, mate, in the last few weeks, and the pressure cranked up on him now will be frightening, absolutely frightening. And that group, like I say, Joey said it, I'll never use the word easy, because there's no easy games in Europe. You've got to give them respect. We knew that after when Ferguson got to the Champions League final in 2011, and we got put out of the group stage the year after. We were overconfident. We had Gaal in that group absolutely murdered us. They took points off us. And when you're losing and drawing to sides like Gaal, you deserve to go out. And we have against PSV, and fully deserve to go out. Van Gaal's going to get all these thrown at him. And the one thing that, I mean, like I say, I'll even personally say it now, and if it comes back to you, whatever, I'll hold my hands up. I do not want Van Gaal and that football that he continuously plays at Old Trafford next season. There's zero excuse for it at a club like Manchester United, mate. Honestly, it is. I mean, Saturday, I wouldn't even say it's the last straw. I lost it miles before that. The football's nowhere near good enough. And then he gets backed into a corner, opens up, and he's shown United can attack. But I'll ask you, boy, is he going to play like that again? He'll be frightened to death again. Well, after Leicester, he'll just play negative football again. But the fans are happy with it because we're taking a point. And then they're saying one moron on the fan cams after the weekend said we're close to Barca and Bayern's level. All we need is a finisher. And how many days later do we get put out of the Champions League in the first group stage? Seriously, you know what I mean? Honestly, it's mental, the stuff that people are saying. This side is not good enough. It isn't good enough in Europe. There's no excuse. The manager's got to take that. And some of them players didn't perform tonight. And they haven't performed in a lot of the games. But I honestly believe, the players do get away with murder at clubs. We all know that. But Van Gaal should have got out of that group. I think so. Even in second, at least like what Joey and you said before, you get a decent side in February time. It gives you you know what I mean. It gives you a bit of a time to improve. And even if you do get battered by Barca or Bayern, it's Barca or Bayern. It's not PSV at home, and then they probably looked a better side for the last 20 minutes. The one thing that fucked me off 2 weeks ago, mate, is how do we buy PSV's best player in Memphis Depay, and they get 4 points off us? And then we're told this is an attacking side.
You mentioned that to me in a conversation.
You deserve to go out of Europe, though, mate, don't you?
I just think that someone brought up that point about Memphis Depay, about him being shit and about where has he gone. And then somebody in the comments below has actually mentioned about him still 21. Someone's gone, well, hang a minute, he's 21. What the hell were Neymar and Messi doing at that age? And yeah, I think a lot of people are still drawing contrasts and contradictions and comparisons between those three players. I'm willing to give the lad a chance.
Well, I'm not getting on Memphis, so you know what I mean. All I'm saying is, we as a football club, we've poached a player from what we call a lesser league. PSV were the champions. He was their main boy, got all the goals. We bought their best player. We've weakened them, and they get 4 points off us in a group stage. It isn't good enough. Now, Van Gaal, he can't say anything to that. It isn't good enough. In fact, it's fucking embarrassing. Never mind drawing CSK away. People go, oh, well, we could have had them. Russia's a tough test. We beat them at home, not convincingly. Rooney got an header with, 12 minutes to go. But it's 3 points. Wolfsberg, we knew what Wolfsberg were going to do, mate. And the home game, was it match day 2? That first goal he scored, oh my days. They replicated it tonight. They absolutely tore us apart. And they were the last 20 minutes. They got some great players. And another thing I'll throw in now, you look at that PSV, Wolfsberg side that tonight, how many players are them on paper, or you'd look at them and go, how many of them would get into that Manchester United team? A couple. I know Draxler would. He'd fucking walk into the side. But saying that,
Draxler was for the replacement for De Bruyne. Yeah.
Again, this is exactly the point. Wolfsberg, they're getting weakened by City. They're spending huge amounts of money on the best player, and they go and replace him. And look what I mean, Draxler, they made United look schoolboy, mate. Wolfsberg's second goal, absolutely fantastic. Barca were doing that to us in the Champions League final 4 years ago. But now we're getting it done to us in the group stage. The one thing that the question I think that'll be asked now in a couple of weeks is, like, I mean, I've already said it, I wouldn't sack Van Gaal mid-season. I think it's madness. For me, Moyes' position was untenable, like you rightly said earlier. He'd lost them February time, and for me, there was no doubt he wasn't going to see the end of the season. I'd only sack Van Gaal. I'd only sack Van Gaal if I don't think we were going to get fourth, and I think we've got enough to finish fourth or third probably.
Well, that's what they waited for. That's what they waited for with Moyes. They just waited till he couldn't get to seventh.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, what if Ancelotti's available right now?
This is exactly what I was going to say now. You see what United did in that first goal, and you see, we know what these players can do. We know what Carrick, Bastian Schweinsteiger, Juan Mata, Memphis Depay. Now, you ask me if an Ancelotti come in, who's a completely different manager to Louis van Gaal, and he puts his hand around these players and say, listen, I want to give you the freedom to do that. You go and express yourself. You go doing this and that. You're telling me United aren't going to be playing better football and probably win, crucially, more games than what Louis van Gaal's doing? Because Louis van Gaal's drawing games. Like I said to a mate of mine all day at work, and I say to everyone I know, right, we won fuck all under Moyes. The football was shit. We won fuck all last season. The football was shit. Now we're out of 2 competitions already. The football's shit. And we might not win anything this year. There's 3 years of nothing, and there's nothing on the pitch, mate. That's what's pissing me off. And I do not want to go and watch that next season. So if I was Woodward at the minute, I'd get money out of Glazer's bank, and I'd pay Ancelotti, just say, don't sign a contract till the end of the season, mate. Come to us at the end of the year. Honestly, I would. And Ancelotti's probably my first choice after this, to come in and get more out of them players. And like you say, we're going to have to build another squad again next season, though, mate. We are. So how long's this transition rebuild going to go on for? Because that squad ain't good enough to go on next season. You could probably say 8 or 9 out of the first team could do when everyone's back. But then you need strength and depth on the bench to play in Europe and compete and even get past the second and third round, mate. You know what I mean? It's unreal. It is unreal, but I mean, everyone's going to have their own, like you said, people go after, they want Pep Guardiola. I mean, some are getting mental. Some are sacked Van Gaal for Gary Monk at the minute, mate. I mean, like they say, the football's so bad. The football's so bad at Old Trafford. Saturday, I was just absolutely livid because me and my mates are driving to the car. They've had the season tickets into the 90s, and we're just sitting in the car now, and it's like, are we going to get the same today? No, we're talking ourselves out of it, and then we're seeing each other after the game. It's the same old shit, mate. And this guy's arguing as we're walking out, and some of these guys, like I say, have been there 50 years. Said it's the worst football I've ever seen. 2 old blokes behind me cannot stand Van Gaal. Hated him, not since day one, probably about 3 weeks in. Said this manager's an arrogant fucker, and the football's dog shit. And 18 months on, United haven't set the world alight, have they? And this is what it's doing. Honestly, I don't want it to come what it did under Moyes, because people laugh, like you keep saying, at the end of February and early March. Tickets were coming up every week for the game, and that's when you know the managers pretty much lost it. When there's ticket exchanges, you can't get rid of tickets fast enough. I'm not on about shitty games against fucking Cambridge. I'm talking Bayern Munich, the Olympiacos in the Champions. Moyes had completely lost it. I hope it doesn't come to that, because then you say mid-season and get. I'm not a big lover of it, but nah, for me, mate, I don't think, if you ask him in a minute, I don't think he's earned to see the third season. I wouldn't say Van Gaal out. I'd say Van Gaal early retirement. Let's just call it that.
Just ask him politely to step aside. There's no need for sacking. Well,
to be honest, would you be comfortable? Would you be comfortable letting a manager run down his contract at the end? Do you know what I mean? Like I remember. I know they're not in the same class, but Fergie's when he was going to retire in 2001. I think when everyone dropped think we'd lost 6 by Christmas at home. United were out of fucking everything, mate. Arsenal ended up winning a double, I think. United, yeah, it was a shocking season. And you don't want anything like that happen again. But like I say, I think after 18 months, I think you can look at it and judge it. And like I say, I don't think the football for me, I don't want to see it anyway, personally. Some like it. Some genuinely do like the football. But that's up to them. But I mean, if you're playing football like that and you're not winning anything, what's the point in having it? And I don't think that should be attitude at United anyway, because I didn't want Mourinho as the manager. But to be fair to Mourinho, mate, I think he'd have performed a couple of games better than what Van Gaal does. You know what I mean? But,
well, he has on a point. Mourinho has on a point improved on that because he won a league last season.
Yeah.
But if you go back to their current position in the league,
get relegated. Yeah. Well, what do you guys think?
I was going to pick up on his point about attacking football that we all want to see, and I think.
Hey,
it's strange enough. And like I understand,
Sturridge is out for 4 weeks with hamstring strain during Liverpool's game at Newcastle. Straight up on Sky Sports. Oh my days!
Did that just get reported by Owen Hargreaves thinking he was talking about himself?
That's right.
Where he hurt some sort of neck muscle. That's ridiculous. Well, it's not ridiculous. It's just laughable at Liverpool, who are going to play a Europa League game and probably end up in the same pot as we are come January. By the way, for anybody who's actually interested in the Europa League draw, is next Monday, by the way, guys.
Oh, you're joking. So they don't even do it with the Champions League one?
I don't know when they did.
Saturday, the European Championship and the Champions League group draw.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I just spotted something on the internet about the draw being on the 14th.
I bet they don't even televise it, do they?
Not backdoor stuff in the Europa League, innit?
I bet Ed Woodward will get a text who we've got. That's how unimportant the Europa League is.
Well, we can take about the piss about the Europa League for the rest of the season, guys. But all I wanted to touch on was this attacking football, and it was something that I spotted before. The game up on it was on Monday Night Football, who strangely enough have got rid of. Well, not got rid of. They had to bring in a replacement for Gary Neville, and we get stuck with fucking Craig Bellamy of all people. As fucking Jamie Carragher rightly said, another fucking most hated person in fucking British football history, just replaced by another one in fucking. But then they made some really good points last night about how football in the Premier League has changed so much because we're trying to adapt to this more European style of football that's been there since Barca were dominating, Real were dominating. Back in what we're talking about 4 or 5 seasons back, and if you go back to those 4 or 5 seasons back, or at least 10 years back, and you played, go back to the area where we had Nistelrooy. I think they picked up one date or something, and United were the only team that played with one up top. The rest of the Premier League played with 2 strikers. Everyone played the 4-2 sort of formation, 4-2 diamond formation, 4-2 wide diamond, and it's completely flipped on its head now because, natural facts, the 3 clubs that won this weekend, Leicester, was it Bournemouth who won, or Watford won, the 3 clubs that won this weekend anyway, all won their matches for playing 2 strikers up top. And I know we've not got that luxury of having 2 strikers at top because we've only got 2 strikers, and for whatever reason Rooney's out, then he's not going to be able to play a full season up there anyway. But is that just the whole mentality of the entire Premier League that's changed, that's actually forcing us to play this? If Van Gaal come in when the whole of the league was playing 4-4-2 with 2 strikers, would we actually see him go back to this 1 striker at the top? Joey, let me have your thoughts on attacking philosophy that we don't seem to see and we want.
I just think that, the possession style with the current squad we have now, I just don't think it works because, he brings in Memphis, who is Memphis the type of guy that thrives on sitting there and being patient and waiting for his hole to get breakthrough? No, we've seen him at PSV hitting people on the counterattack, cutting in and shooting with his right foot. You know, you look at a lot of the players he's bought. Even Di Maria. Di Maria is another one who thrives on that chaos thing. You know, with Louis van Gaal, what he wants is this patient, methodical build-up. But what really is happening is that teams are getting the time to sit back and be able to defend. They're able to sit in their final third, you know, move side to side, and make you pick a killer pass. And right now they're having trouble doing that. Even Martial, I just don't think Martial is this type of striker who is a possession style, you know, striker that's going to get 2 or 3 chances a game, and he's going to convert them. You know, the kid's, 19, 20 years old. You know, if you used his pace and used Memphis's pace and used Lingard's pace and you were more direct or used more counterattacking, like you said, one ball from the back, one ball from midfield, goal. What's so hard about that? Nothing. So I think a lot of it is just that Louis van Gaal's possession style and the players he has bought don't fit it. You know, maybe if Herrera was in there with Schweinsteiger in that 2 in midfield, and then Mata, and maybe false wingers. I just don't think the players that he's even bought fit his philosophy, because I don't know. I just don't see it. Like I was saying.
I'm sort of trying to pick up on that. So he brings in a philosophy that he's banging on about since day one. It clears out all the deadwood. We all agreed with that idea.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't sort of keep hold of the players that we sort of needed to keep some squad depth, but he didn't bring in players that actually should play towards his philosophy. Is that what you're trying to say?
Do you think that Memphis
saying that we were basically
going to sit there and be able to sit back and play these passes, you know, keep possession, keep going? That's not Memphis Depay's best attributes. That doesn't play to Memphis Depay. You know, and instead of, you know, adapting the system to the players you have, he has done the opposite of that, and it's just not working.
Well, yeah, it's clearly not working because we're not
scoring goals. But it goes back to we agree there's not enough squad depth. But with Martial has got pace. He's quick. He can get in behind defenders. I'd rather play the long fucking ball than possession at this point.
Let's just hit and hope that he's not offside every time.
Yeah, why not?
Well, at least put someone in the middle of the park that can play through the channels in that point. So you get it in, like Mata did, turn, bang through a channel, it goes in behind their defence, rather than actually having a slow mechanical.
And also, even going on that, you know, there was a great post written about Louis van Gaal's philosophy, and certain players can risk losing the ball in situations where they're not set up to defend. Like his number 10 has ultimate freedom. They can be anywhere. They can risk losing the ball when the team's not in a good place to defend. But the midfielders, like the 2 midfielders that are holding, and even the fullbacks, they're not allowed to play a risky. They're not supposed to be playing risky passes when the team is not set up to defend. And I wouldn't
mind if we was actually playing risky passes and they didn't come up.
Yeah.
We can't play the short ones and the normal ones without it being sloppy. Mata
None of them
put 2 out to the sideline like he was playing with a ghost today. he passed 2 behind Varela. Like, Varela's like that. I'm going up the pitch, mate. Yeah. Where do you think I'm going to be playing? We're going on the attack. And Mata just went straight out. I was like, where are you going with that ball, mate?
Varela and Mata have played, how many minutes together? Not many. So there is no build-up. There's no understanding of chemistry because everybody keeps getting hurt as well.
Yeah, that is a fair point, in actual fact. Yeah, but just take a second to think about where you're passing the ball would be my suggestion to Juan Mata. And this was another thing, like I said this on Saturday. What is it with Juan Mata who can't play more than... He needs about 20 yards around him in a radius. Otherwise, he just goes round in a circle with the ball at his feet until he finds some actual space to pass into. It's not like he needs like a gap for the ball to go into, to find a teammate. He passes the ball. He's got to wait for the gap to open up to have some loads of space or something. And he just finds it really frustrating for someone that, if you go and watch his YouTube channels, he can bring the ball down, and we've all seen it. He can bring a ball down, picking it out like it's coming out of space. He can put balls in nicely and in the right areas, but you just got to give him so much space. And I think this is part of the problem is we've all wanted him to be in that number 10 role. He starts getting those positions in number 10, and he gets blooming absolutely hammered out of the game. And his options then are to try and find a backwards pass. And the backwards pass then just doesn't result in anything apart from going sideways and backwards. I'm going to make a point here, and a good one for you, Steve, I think, on this, is I thought that we did what Wolfsberg didn't want us to do. It was mentioned in commentary, probably not by Hargreaves. Darren Fletcher probably mentioned it, about how they conceded very quickly at the weekend to Dortmund, about how early they did. And we actually went and kept pressing. And we got we didn't get our goal from that, but it created so many different problems for them trying to get the ball out from the back. And is that another key feature of where United needs to start defending from? We need to start defending from the front, as well as at the, to give the guys at the back something. Defensively today, we weren't that good, and we've picked out the problems for the first goal. Second goal, Schweinsteiger probably could have done better, but does that defending have to come from some work rate up front from the likes of Memphis and the likes of Marshall, chasing down, getting into the players' faces, or is that just opening ourselves up too much to be counted on? Because that's basically what happened against Arsenal. If we go back to the Arsenal match, Schweinsteiger was put further field up, and he went chasing the ball around and actually left loads of space out for Arsenal to go and play with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a massive fan of overanalyzing, mate, to be fair. The one thing I'll pick up what you said, you picked up the Arsenal game. Like you say, I think Arsenal and Wolfsberg, I can remember probably the two best footballing sides we've played this season. And Morgan Schneiderlin didn't play in any of them. And we conceded 3 at the Emirates. And we conceded 3 today. Now, I think United do defend as a whole team with a setup, obviously not minus tonight. In the league, I think the slow build-up allows United. Well, at the end of the day, if United have got the ball for 70% of the game, then they haven't got the ball and they're not going to attack, so the defenders aren't doing anything. But I mean, Schneiderlin was a loss tonight. Schneiderlin breaks up that play, and I think it's clear that anyone who's got anything about them, and they didn't even play with their striker today. They just filled it with midfielders, quick passing, 1-2. They took the piss, and with no one there, the defending didn't look. But Van Gaal, didn't look the best in England, did it? In all fairness to it. Like I say, I wouldn't overanalyze the defending too much. I think, like I personally think anyway, he was backed into a corner tonight. I think he did probably the Tottenham game at home. I said it last year that it's a sort of do or die, and we got the early goal. And like I say, I think it's schoolboy. The one thing you say when you get a goal, don't concede too early. You mentioned it. Blinn gave away a silly free kick. United don't defend a free kick, and it's an easy goal. Second one, probably a comedy of errors, but I like attacking football, so I'd give the onus to Wolfsberg and just say you tore us apart, lads. Superb, but it's just the whole group's been shit, mate. And I think the league football's completely shit. I don't know, mate. I don't want to really add any more. We could be here for fucking 4 or 5 hours going on about it, mate. For that, you know what I mean, from the weekend and even today. But like I said, I won't add any more on that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go on to the Bournemouth game. We'll probably do a show probably Thursday night for the Bournemouth game. Let the dust settle on tonight's antics after all the comments and someone actually disagreeing with you here. Nick just said Schneiderlin is the modern day Makelele. In actual fact, Makelele was all right his day. Played 3 good seasons for Chelsea. But it's just a frustration, and I wanted to try and finish on a positive. Trying to find one at the moment seems to be really hard.
I think I'll go on a positive. Like I say, I think a positive is we've shown that we can. We've got the players that are technically and quick enough and good enough to get that ball from defence to attack in 3 passes. Wolfsberg could say, oh, we didn't defend it well, whatever. Daley Blind's a very good passer of the football. Juan Matas is certainly a good footballer when he gets to space and as runners. Like I say, I think Martial, ever since he's come, he, for me, is our only outlet up top. And I don't even like going back to Sir Alex, mate. But what would Sir Alex do with Martial? He'd say to Scholes, he'd say to the world-class players he had in the squad, get the ball to this kid, slide it through, and he'll learn to be onside most of the time, unlike Hernandez, and he'll bury him. He's fucking lethal in front of goal. What he isn't lethal at is 15 players in the box, and he's bunting it towards goal, and then Van Gaal's calling it a chance. I don't know what you should be getting at United. You should be getting proper quality attacking, but obviously the big problem is now. Well, to be fair, I mean, I want to know what you guys would do. Do you think, would you be happy seeing the football with Van Gaal next season? Who would you be first choice? You know what I mean? To me, I think it needs discussion, mate. Because, like I say, I reckon it was. Well, me and you were at the game Saturday, and I reckon he's losing a lot more by every game. I thought the atmosphere was poor at Old Trafford on Saturday, and I never say that. I thought it was very quiet, and I thought the boos at the end, and it's just getting worse. You say it's arguing when you're going out, and these are big time Reds who have had season ticket 20 years. I mean, they are no glory hunters. You make sacrifices to go to games, it's a fact. You spend less time with your family, you spend money at your pay packet. And most of them, they're just losing the will to live because the football's fucking wank. I mean, I just say, do you think he deserves a third season? And who's the man to take it on, take it over?
I was going to say about those booing at full time. Yeah, atmosphere at Old Trafford is flat as much as you can try and do it. I've seen videos of. Well, I know from being in Jade that we pretty much try and sing most of the match. I'm sure the Stretford end do the same thing. But if he's not going to be helped by a flat stadium where nobody's getting behind the team, there just doesn't seem to be a fight from the crowd either. I think it's because he put half of them to sleep. So there's just nobody there to do it. I don't advocate booing. It's just not my thing. It's just not United thing. Not United class at all. We've never booed our own in how many years? And I've spoken to a couple of Reds since, in actual fact, put it on my Facebook stage about booing. I've seen times in the 70s where we was nearly in Division 3. I've seen really bad times. And I said, yeah, but did you ever see a United crowd boo them, even though no? That was the simple answer, and that's what. And it seems like we're a bit spoiled and a bit throwing our dummies out the pram because things are not going right at the moment. But I'd rather watch United fans actually get behind our own team than do that. Try and force the issue by doing it from the stands, doing it from the terraces, and giving them the whole heart support, even if it was just because even through that Moisey season, where he lost the dressing room, but the players played for the fans in the stands because the fans were still behind the team, and I think that's probably where we got our Champions League run that season. If we go back to that sort of thing, yeah, Joey, let's pass on Steve's question then, and just before we finish as well, because we're pretty much near enough an hour now. Would you want a third season, Louis van Gaal? Or do you think this summer we cut the ties and say, right, bring in a new man, and there's a big nice war chest to try and rebuild again this side?
Well, I guess it would depend on how the next 5 months go. If they're like what we've seen recently, then it's not going to change, and he's got that stubbornness about him where it isn't going to change. So no, I wouldn't. The only way you can't fire a manager that wins the league. So I mean, and really, if you look at it, all those 0-0 draws, we should have a nice little lead at the top. We should be in first place with Leicester behind us. City keep fucking around, got blown out by Stoke. We should be fucking. But that's neither here or there. We're not. No, you can't. You can't give him $200 million more to spend because the money that you have given him, he's fucking pissed down the drain most of it. You know, they did recover a lot of it this summer, but there was also a lot of players that gone out. The only good thing that he, you know, not the only good thing, but one of the great things he's done is that, you know, I'm looking at the squad, and yeah, it's not the greatest, but you only have to add to it. You don't have to trim much. You know, you add a center back and some depth at fullback, or you keep letting these young players get the experience over the next couple months, and you add a goal scorer. But none of that will change if his philosophy is still the same, because I just don't think it fits. No, I wouldn't keep him if he didn't win the league. I know that's, you know, some steepness, but if the football didn't change and he didn't win the league, you can't. And going back to who I would pick, Pep Guardiola would be my replacement for him, or Carlo Ancelotti. That's a great pick too. They're both, you know, great managers, great European managers. You know, you look at what they've done over the history of their careers. And the thing I like about Pep is Pep's always looking at that youth academy, and he's always bringing through players. And I think that aligns with Manchester United more. However, I would not be mad if they brought Ancelotti. But there is, you know, they do need some players. They need some game-changing players. They don't have any of that right now. They don't have someone who can score from nothing. You know, real quick before we were talking, you know, I remember last December we were in that nice little unbeaten run, and we were getting maybe 2-3 chances a game, but we were having Van Persie and Rooney convert these, maybe not Rooney, but Van Persie was converting these minimal chances they were getting. And now that you see, that's the difference. You know, they're not ruthless enough. They're not cutthroat enough. They're not going to get 2 chances and bang both of them in the back of the net. So, yeah.
That's slightly, it's quite helpfully summing things up. I'm just going to have a shout out to Steve's friend Ian Mellor, who's tweeted in and said that he's been watching and he wants you to be this honest in work tomorrow. If it's going to be United related, I don't know. If it's going to be work related, might be another fact. But he says you're a good honest lad. So
he'll hammer me tomorrow, mate. He will hammer me.
Oh, there we go. Well, at least there's some opposition fans watching straight into Steve. We're not all red tinted glass shouting at fan cams about doing this, that, and the other. But yeah, it's been good to see everybody chatting in the thingies as always. Thomas Jenkins is getting in. Mr. Alan Keegan was suggesting something before, but I can't get back to it without spending the next half an hour trying to find it. Mr. Fred Jones has made some good points as well. He's just put Guardiola can pick any club he wants. He might just extend it by and most likely go to City. And if you want to round off your evening for tonight, after you've finished with us here, by the way, the highlights of Real Madrid have just started on BT Sport, and obviously get to see Ronaldo banging 4. So if that doesn't help lift some spirits or depress you even more, I'm not entirely sure. We start a Bring Ronaldo Back campaign. I'm not entirely sure, but he's banging in 4 in Europe against. Well, saying that he was playing Malmo, so another pub team that we should.
Yeah, I think we'd probably stretch 2-0
there. We'd probably stretch 2-0. Well, there was a lot of 2-0s coming in the predictions when I asked for them before. But I was asking for predictions before the match this afternoon. Lots of 2-0s coming in. Then it started to go a bit of people saw the team and then thought, in actual fact, we might have a go here. We did have a go.
Yeah.
But
that happens to all of us, though, doesn't it? I mean, Saturday you leave the game and you're like, I just got battered in Manchester. I didn't. I was tweeting out absolute nonsense. Probably. Mate, we are fucking wank. And then you get to wait today, and then you're finishing about off, and you're like, yeah, this could happen tonight. You naturally get more optimistic because at football, anything can happen. But in our art of arts, we knew we were out 2 weeks ago.
I suppose the highlight. Yeah, anything can happen because at one point to stage tonight, it was CSK.
We should celebrate. We were through for what, 2.5 minutes? Brilliant.
What overall, or like in the 2 different goal sections that happened?
I don't know. Someone will time it, and someone will put it up tomorrow, I think. But yeah, unreal.
Yeah, muting myself at the wrong time doesn't really work. Anyways, guys, get your comments in below. Let's have some more. Your thoughts on Van Gaal, his philosophy. Was you more impressed with a bit more attacking, like Steve says, him having to change it tonight? boos keep ringing around, attack, 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 keep shouting out. I'm sure we're going to see some of that against Bournemouth on Saturday as well, if it's not going to be played in the same start style. Are you proud of the younger lads that have come in and tried to do a job today? Just get your comments in below, guys. If you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up. We will be back on Thursday for a preview of that Bournemouth, hopefully in a slightly more better mood, apart from the fact that we knew that probably Herrera might be back, might be missing Smalling and Darmian, so injury list getting bigger and bigger again. Very helpful. Thanks to Steve and to Joey for joining me, and we'll see you again, guys.